Hello everybody and welcome to my interlude vid of Mitsuuo the Fire Princess. Now, a little update before we go into the story. Episode 1 and 5 of Rise of the Hero will be taken down, and the trailer. The trailer will be reposted at a much later date, but episode 1 and 5 will be posted at some point next week or the week after. Right then, so let's get you up to date with the story of my character. Right, I've completed Act 1. I haven't gone to Taris or anything. This is just because of, I know the XP seems a bit generous to me. And before you say anything like, oh, I see a minor XP boost, I've only just used one of them. That was it. I'm starting to think that if you get to level 15 before you head to Drummond Castle Correns, and you're just like set. That's what I think, but oh well. Now then, time to explain what a fire princess is. Now, before you say anything, let's just take the title out of the name, out of the equation, and just put fire user. Now, I said this similar to Jedi and Sith. Yes and no. Right then, for Mitsuuo's case and what class she is, let's just say she's 10% Jedi for her case and 10% fire user. Now the reason for that being, well, before we skip ahead, she was trained at the age of 6, but she had a little bit of a problem. She wasn't force heavy as she was with her mother and father. Now that was odd to them because of course they're both strong force users, a consular and a knight. She should be a Jedi prodigy, but she wasn't, so live and learn. But she could do the simple pick up a box, throw someone, but it was like occasional, like she could only do it on a good day. So like, say 1 week she could pick up something and throw someone, and then next week she couldn't do anything at all. Now then, let's go over her class in general, like my fan-made class as it were. Her power differs from the Force, because I don't know what the Force is. Like, is it something else? Is it a different power source? If it was explained, please tell me in the comments, or is it just the Force? Like, that we had no explanation. If that was the case, yay! I am not stupid. So yeah. Fire user is one of the other elements. Like, why not just say elemental user? An elemental user can wield all the elements, okay? So she's not. So there are others: earth, air, fire, water, and lightning. She's obviously the fire one. They use a different power source. They use willpower to amplify their powers. So flame sweep, flame thrower, and flame burst. I can't show you that. I do apologize. I don't know how to. Oh well. Now then, she isn't as strong as a user as any of the others. Yes, there are others. The reason for that is a fire user, they have to be trained as soon as they show signs. So like simple sign of a spark, they have to be trained. But it was too late because of her predicament. She was incarcerated for 14 years, up to the age of 14, by the Jedi. She could go out, she could travel Typhon, but that was it. She had to have an escort. She was basically watched like a hawk. There was no freedom whatsoever. And of course, knowing what her father and mother were like, not in that way, freedom-wise, they could do whatever the hell they want. But of course, like, she wanted to travel the universe, and see the other species and everything. But of course, Swtor didn't want that. Now, she didn't know... Well, she knew what she was, but she didn't believe the person who told her. Now, someone wanted Mitsuuo to be killed. But of course, Swtor didn't want that. Because she didn't believe in that. But what she hated is strong, didn't like, is the fact that Kira and Aizen had a child and were in a relationship. Now, of course, that's against the Jedi Code, and Aizen is the Jedi that everyone looks up to. Because basically, to every Jedi below him, sees that he was strong with no relationship, like no love. That's basically it. But of course, as we saw it, having that love for Kira made him stronger. And of course his friends. Now then, what Mitsuuo, like how she was a threat to the Jedi, it was because of what she represented. It proved that Jedi could be in a relationship and not turn to the dark side. Yes, Aizen did make dark side choices, but that was only because they were out of necessity or reasoning for his past. Like, why did I choose the dark side option for the Emperor? Simple, it was because what he'd done to Kira, and because keeping him alive would be death itself. I mean, you don't keep someone that powerful, that's lived for that long, and all the atrocities they've committed, and give him a trial. You just don't. Simple as. That's how Aizen viewed it. So, because of this being born, and like Aizen not being dark side or anything, it would cause a lot of controversy between the Jedi Order, because they'd be like, hang on. We're saying relationships lead to the dark side, yet Aizen is light-sided and Kira's light-sided, and they have a child? Have we missed something here? Now, of course, there'd be an uproar, but Swtor, crafty as she is, and a little bit evil, I would admit I did this a bit evil, but it was the only logical reasoning I could give. Now, Aizen and Kira didn't want to tell anyone about it, but what made Aizen like click in the head, like, oh, I know now, was because Swtor said, right, like these, like, you could see Mitsuuo all you want, you and Kira could still be together if you don't tell anyone. If you tell anyone, then we separate you two, and Mitsuuo gone. You don't know where she is, only I know. Simple as. And then people will just think you're crazy. That's it. Now then. Now, of course, that ties into Tritus, what he wanted, make the Jedi for the better. She is the better. Mitsuuo is the better for the Jedi. Now then, where does Tritus come into play? Tritus knows about the users, the fire users, but of course it was too late to train her, but he could train her like simplistic spells, like the flame sweep, flamethrower, and the flame burst. If there are other fire moves, then obviously they will be tied in as well. It's just I don't know, I haven't got that far yet, leave me alone. In the class, obviously. It's because they have to start at a really young age, but of course it was too late for her because her training started at the age of 12. Now then, I don't know if you can see it, but you'll probably, couldn't have saw it. Seen it rather. Right. At the age of 14, Mitsuuo had her hand cut off. Obvious. What was your first guess, Xaydam? Now then, you won't see that until you get to the beginning of Alderaan's episode. So that'll be a while. So for story-wise, just a glove was covering it. That's all. Now then, who chopped off her hand? It was a Jedi. That's all I'm gonna say. Now then, Oh, God, what else was there? Not very professional, is it, Xaydam? Yeah, I'm very nervous. Now then. The reasoning for that was because of, well, this. Or, well, any fire. The guy was pissed scared for she was Sif. Simple as. Now then, I'll be covering her life. Oh yeah, I've missed out one crucial thing. Why is she a bounty hunter? Or how did she become a bounty hunter? Well, Tritus asked Aizen asked Tritus rather to take Mitsuuo away. Like she did after a hand incident. He didn't want her to be targeted for this by this prejudice because of what she can do. Now, is the person alive that did this? You're not knowing. Tritus took her to his mate, and he asked him to train her as a bounty hunter because, of course, bounty hunters are common with fire. Because it was basically the easy cover. Now, bounty hunters are neutral, but she chose to go to the Empire because she wanted to stay away from the Republic. She hated the Republic because the Jedi were in the Republic. She doesn't hate her mother and father, or all Jedi. She only hates a few. Basically, people who cling on to old beliefs. She trained at the age of 14 to the age of 18, and then 2 years later, when she became independent, she was met by a character, as you all know in episode 1, and he asked her to join his squad. Simple as, and then the story goes on from there. Right then, I hope you enjoyed this little backstory. And I have to say this one thing. Her story up to the age of 14 will be covered on Wednesdays. There'll be links in the description on Wednesday's episodes to a website where I just explain in a short story up until we get to the age of 14 for her. Okay? Oh yeah. I didn't even mention the episode plan. The episodes will be up on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay? And I'll be up until, obviously, this bloody thing finishes. Now then, I'd like to give a shout out before we end off here. To other people who do legacy stories, and my god, they are good. Jesus Christ. I'm being the truth now. You should check these guys out. Okay, right. Their names are OSW Guild, and I apologize for this YouTuber, but his name is Tales. I might be wrong, but the links will be in the description. So that's OSW Guild and Tales. Just look for an X on the Tales. I just can't pronounce it, and that's coming from me. I've got odd names, haven't I? So yeah, I hope to see you on Monday for Roar of the Fire Princess. See you, people.